I like to get started with a little warm-up. I like to do jumping jacks at the beginning. I don't do too much of a strong workout or warm-up before my stretching or workouts. Just something to get the body moving, upper body, lower body. There's some breaks in here if you need to take some time. Feel free to add in more. But like I said, I don't like to do too much. I just want to get my body moving a little bit. I warm up quickly. Here's some front jumping jacks. So I warm up quickly, and I feel like I just get hotter and hotter and hotter. So I want to start off pretty cool and just take my time getting into the workout. And here I'm doing some arm rotations. This is just my arms moving, and then I get into a point where I get my core going, and I speed things up by just tightening up my core, using that to fling my arms around. And I like to do some leg balancing. This isn't really to warm anything up, it's really just to connect me more with my body. This gives me a chance to balance and see how my body's feeling. I'm just doing some reaches here with my arms, just stretching them out as far as they'll go. Nothing really crazy here, just some connecting with my body. And here we're going to get down on the mat and do some side bends, stretching the lat, the tricep, and that whole side. Here I'm reaching around to the back side and grabbing my armpit. You can see my fingers hanging out a little bit. And then I'm really pushing that shoulder up. And then with the off arm, I'm using that to pull the tricep across my body to really get deep in that stretch. I'm not pulling down because I really want to lengthen through that shoulder joint. Don't dislocate your shoulder, just do what feels comfortable. And here again, I start grabbing the outside of my armpit and reach through that shoulder, lengthening it, and pull down across on that backside of the tricep or the elbow, and bend into it. And breathe. Don't forget to breathe. Breathing is so important. And if you can, do a diaphragmatic breathing. It's just much easier. Gives you a lot more freedom. Here we're just going to take a little break. Still warming up. My body hasn't got going yet. I don't want to go too hard, too fast. We're going to do another stretch. Grab that outside armpit if you can reach it. Then bend over into that stretch. And do those deep belly breaths if you can. Again, don't forget to push up in your shoulder. You want your shoulder blade moving up rib cage, really lengthening that whole shoulder joint. And we're going to switch to another stretch right here for a little bit. It's a little dance break. Still warming up. And we're going to come back to that. I like to do 3 stretches. They say the power of 3. But we're going to do a belt stretch here. Make sure that you are protracting your shoulder blade, letting it rotate out to the side on your back. And then use your off forearm to pull your elbow close to your body. again, use that forearm to pull your elbow close into your body with your shoulder protracted so you can get that shoulder in front of your body and get a good deep stretch. Only push your body as far as it can go. Don't forget to breathe. Breathing is so important, and your belly breath is your friend here. And one more of these, and then we're going to go back to that first side bend stretch. Now this was a little bit more challenging for me having my legs out in front of me, so on the next one I just switched back to the cross-legged pose. It seemed a little bit easier to have my balance. I don't know if my ankles were bothering me or something, but I thought cross-legged pose would be better. If you're not on a mat, driving your ankles down or heels down, then the hard surface can be painful. Again, don't forget to reach over with that armpit and bring your elbow across your body instead of down. Back to the duck stretch. I'm making all these faces. I apologize for it. I need to be more aware that the camera is on. Usually these things are in hyperspace, hyperlapse mode, so you can't see all the funny faces I'm making, but you can now in normal play. Okay, we're going to do a pec stretch, really opening up the chest. So you should be thinking about pushing through your thoracic while you're opening up your chest, while your shoulders rotate back. Pressing down, interlacing your fingers and pressing down. Here's a side view of it. Interlace your fingers first. Then press down, open up that chest. Really think about pushing through that sternum, and then the shoulders come back. I'm probably leaning a little bit too far forward on this, or too far back. I'd probably like to see myself a little bit straighter up. We'll come back to the third one of those in a little bit. Here we're going to do some chest stretches on the floor. You're going to put your bottom arm bent at 90 degrees behind you, and then use your front arm on top. Just rotate your body, and you should feel a nice stretch in the pec, that lower pec muscle. I use the lower leg to bring it forward to balance my body, making that stretch a lot easier to maintain the balance on. And we're going to switch to the other side. Do the same thing. 90-degree bend of the arm. And use the front arm to rotate your body. You'll feel a nice stretch all the way through your chest. You can move that back elbow forward or back, up or down, further from your body, closer to your feet. to change the stretch. Do what feels comfortable. Do where you feel the best stretch. But use that front arm to get the stretch. And here from the back side you can see the arm is bent. It's about shoulder height. Like I said, you can move that elbow up above your shoulder and it'll change the stretch, and if you bring it down below your shoulder, it'll change it as well. But I find at the shoulder was just really great today. Again, those faces, I'm wincing. Guess I'm feeling a really good stretch there. After this one, we will move back into the seated open chest stretch. And I'll give you a back view from that location, so you can see how everything works from the back side. We're going to interlock those fingers, drive them down, really squeeze your shoulder blades together. Make sure your shoulders are rotated back, opening up your chest, and you want to depress your shoulder blades down. So they should be squeezed together and depressed down. You'll see a nice lengthened neck. And back to the floor, chest stretches to finish up the third set. Again, bring that bottom leg up and forward so you can balance across your body, making the stretch easier to do. With the position, do all the work for you. Now we're going to do some cat-cow exercises. When you're in the cat, really let your shoulder blades protract. You want to push way up, feel your spine opening up, and then when you come down into cow, really push through your sternum, feeling your shoulder blades come together, and your thoracic extended. I'm doing this to open up my thoracic. We're going to get into some thoracic rotations here in a little bit, and I want to just do a quick cat-cow to get that mid-back section working and running. So we can use it here in a little bit. And don't forget to breathe. Always breathe through these exercises. Here we're gonna get into a child pose. And I was really focusing on lengthening through my shoulder, lengthening through my arms, but at the same time pushing back from my palms so I can get my glute really low into my heels. And here we get into a cobra pose or downward dog, one of the two. I'm not a yogi master or whatever. I'm just listening to my body and doing what feels good. So in this one, you want to make sure that you, again, depress that shoulder blades. You want them back together and down. That will lengthen everything. And here, I'm trying to get stretching that lower back. And get those glutes down to the heels. Really driving through the base of my palms. That meaty part, that's where I'm really pushing. The meaty part of my palms. I'll start doing some rocking in my hips. My hips are always so tight, so if I can add a little bit here and there, I will. But feel free to do what feels good to you. This is just a tag along. So again, in this pose, you want to make sure that you are depressing your shoulder blades, bringing them down. That will lengthen that neck and make everything feel nice and tall. And the last and third round, a little child pose. Really lengthen through that shoulder. Extend those arms. Push through the palms. Guiding the butt down to the feet. Here we're going to do some quadruped rotations. On this one, I would say I should be squeezing my shoulder blades a little bit tighter together. Trying to get some retraction there. And when you do that, it will cause your spine to drop down a little bit, and I think I'll just put it in a better position for you. I wish I had done it that way, but I don't have a mirror. Mirrors do help out a lot. If you can, use a mirror. They're great. Here we're going to jump into a downward dog. My calves and hamstrings are always so tight. I like to march out the downward dog when I first start. It really helps them relax. And I have discovered that if you really push through the palms, you get a much better stretch in the legs. So I'm lengthening through my shoulders, but pressing through the base of my palms to really get a good stretch. And you want your heels planted on the ground, and you want your hips rotating up towards the sky. So you get that lengthening all the way from your heels to your hips. And that will get your hamstrings and your calves. And if you push through those palms, you will feel it in your calves. Oh, and with the shoulders, you really want to think about rotating your arms so that your armpits are kind of like rotating out to the side, and that will help your thoracic spine lengthen and get you deeper into that stretch. It's a little trick I recently picked up somewhere. I have no idea where I picked it up, but I feel like it really helps with the exercise. I'm just checking the list of things to do. I'd like to have a skeleton of things I'm going to do, but then we'll always just add in some more, or listen to my body, do something different. Here we're going to do a deep squat with a thoracic rotation. Get a little bit more in there. My left side in the camera here, you can see it's a little bit better than my right side. My hips come up when I go into that. rotation on both sides, but it feels like it's a little bit more on the right hand side. And I don't get as good a rotation. Do what your body can do. If your hips have to come up, they have to come up. But get that rotation in. And I'm pressing my tricep against my inner thigh, knee area to help stabilize my body as I get into that rotation. Here we're going to do some hip rotations. They're going to be assisted with your backhand easing your lowering to the floor. I've been doing a lot of hip workouts and I don't want to do a workout here. I'm just trying to get some mobility, some movement, some stretching. I'm not worried about strength there. And we'll do a rotation on this one. Think about keeping your spine tall and lengthened while you're in that rotation. Grabbing that front knee and pulling across your body to help with that rotation. And on the next one, I don't know, I lost count. I don't know why I stopped, but I only did 3 of these. I'd really recommend you do a 4th one. Take a little break. I'll give you a chance on the 4th one. But here we are in the 3rd one. Really stretch through that thoracic spine. Here's my little break, so I encourage you to continue. Just do another hip rotation and a spine. And you can join me on this side where we're going to do a raise. So we'll rotate over, do a single raise, and then go to the other side. I really feel these in the front of my hips. My hips are always so tight. It just feels good to get that elevation, really push the hips forward. And I think on this one, I start thinking about moving that back leg forward and then getting into a lunge stretch too. Yeah, when you get into that stretch, you really want to feel it in that back leg. You're gonna swing your leg around, lean into it, and you'll feel it in that back leg hip joint. And I'm not using my hands here, but please feel free to, especially coming back. It can be much more challenging moving backwards in this movement. Support yourself if you need it. I could use a little bit of help here, but I'm trying to manage without it. I'm just using the support to get me off and onto the ground. Lean forward, really driving deep into that hip joint, opening it up. Here we're going to do some deep squat rotations, and with these, use your hands just to support you. Just using as little motion or little energy as possible in them. You want to keep your center of balance just outside of center so that you can just shift that weight around and let it just guide you in the motion. And you want to switch rotations. You can see I'm just letting my body fall back, catching it. I'm not really using my arms much, just trying to help push that motion around and stop me from falling onto my butt. We're just shifting weight around, getting some movement. And next we're going to do some back bends just to start moving lower in the back, focusing more on that lower back now. And I'm just doing a little bit here. And we're going to get into one-legged stretch, bringing that off leg to your thigh. And I'm not super stretchy. I can get there, but I have to grab my shin to start off with. And if that's where you have to start, that's where you have to start. If you can grab your foot, go for it. But just because that's where you start doesn't mean you have to end there. So I progress to my foot. You push through that heel. Don't forget to breathe. Always breathe. I didn't mention that enough in this workout. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Let your belly breath be your friend. Start off with the shin again. Push through that ankle. Bring your toes towards you. Eventually I'll do that. I reach for my foot, get that foot, pull those toes in, push through the heel. And try and bring that head closer and closer to your knee. Again, starting off at the shin, reaching around the foot when you can. Make sure to breathe. Do not forget to breathe. Breathe through your belly. Let it relax your body. And here I grabbed down on my shin just so I could get better leverage and really try and pull my body down into my knee. Alright, we're going to go back into downward dog. And again, think about rotating your arms so that your armpits open up to the world. And push through those palms. Keep those legs straight. Your hips pulling up on your hamstring and your heels pulling down on your calves. Really lengthening that whole posterior chain. Push through the palms, keep the feet planted, make sure your elbows or your knees are straight, your elbows are straight, and feel that hip rotate and pull up on your hamstrings. You will feel the tension, you will feel the stretch. If you want to feel it deeper in your calves, push through your palms. And one more downward dog. We'll get into doing some neck stretches here. You want to slightly pull down on your head, while on the opposite side you're really depressing your shoulder blades, bringing your shoulders down. And rotate the other side. Depress that shoulder blade, really drive it to the ground. And here I use my hands to lightly pull my head forward. I was feeling a stretch there, so I just kept going with it. It was in my upper back, so I just get that round more, and I'm not really pulling hard here, just slightly, just to guide and give a little tension. And then finish with pushing that neck up and back, and let it really curve and feel the lengthening through your throat.